I'm not talking about the people of Pune.
I know you're talking about
Frankly speaking, I don't even know much about them. Frankly speaking, because I'm not a very biased person. I don't do prejudice. Okay, I'm not going ahead with conspiracies framed against somebody. No, I'm not a conspirator. If I don't know enough about somebody, I will simply say that I don't know enough. As far as Amrita is concerned, Jayas is concerned, simply speaking, frankly speaking, honestly speaking, I have never talked to them in these 32 years. Okay? I have never heard from them. I have never even read enough about them. What actually happened after my demise, what they did, where they are right now, their phone numbers. I don't know.
Yeah.
I simply don't know. And frankly speaking, even I have not tried enough to contact them. Sometimes I used to think that I should contact them, but then I thought that if they come to know about me and if they approach me, it is all right. I will be approachable. Hmm. But I will not try to be an impediment in their way. I will not try to interfere in their own personal life. What they did is very appreciable. A lot of books were published, and they have been published in many languages. And that is worth commendation, because there is a person from Brazil. He's a good friend of mine. His name is Aurelio. He doesn't speak English that well. His English is not that sound. He is not that very fluent, but he tries to understand. He uses translation, and many times I have talked to him. And he was reading my book in Brazilian. And he had posted an Instagram story, not just now, even before my interview took place, way back in April or May. He had posted an Instagram story, and he had tagged me, and he knows that I am there alive. Sometimes we talk, and he came to know about me through Sheila. Sheila started liking me on Instagram, liking my posts or following me on Instagram. Then he used to follow Sheila, and he saw that Sheila follows me, and he saw that there are very few people whom Sheila follows. And he immediately had some suspicion. He came to my account, checked everything out, and he was fully sure that I'm the same person. Then we chatted, we talked, and I also invited him, and I said that whenever some ashram is ready, you can come. And he will come. And he has a good community over there in Brazil. Good Osho disciples, in fact. And they all read my books in Brazilian language. And it wouldn't have been possible had they not strived to publish all those books in several languages. Be it anything, whether they are motivated by the greed to attain money or something like that, it simply doesn't matter. Money is important for everybody. Without money, you cannot fill your belly. And as far as the ashram is concerned, lakhs of rupees simply are there in the electricity bill. Even the electricity bill is worth lakhs of rupees. I had gone to ISKCON, New Delhi. It is near, Kailash colony or somewhere like that. And they said that the electricity bill that comes every month, it is around 7 to 8 lakh rupees. The electricity bill of the whole mandir, the whole temple, it is around 7 to 8 lakh rupees. If they don't charge even a single penny from the disciples who are trying to come over there, and if they don't give even a single penny, how will they take care of the electricity bill? I'm not talking about the rest of the maintenance charges. I'm talking simply about the electricity bill that they have to pay. That they have to pay. If they have to keep the ashram running, they have to pay the electricity bill. First of all, the electricity bill, then something else. Even if you have to pay the very cooks or chefs, I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about your lunch, your dinner, your breakfast. I'm not talking about all that. I'm not talking about the sanitation, the cleanliness that has to be taken care of by some specialized people. I'm simply talking about the electricity bill, which is the fundamental thing. You can live without food for some days, but you cannot live without electricity and water. That needs to be taken care of. And the people, they are not willing to give even 1,500 or 3,000 rupees. I don't know how much they charge right now. Perhaps 3,000 rupees or 1,500 rupees. But that is very, very infinitesimal. It is not very, very big sum of money. If you don't pay, then where will the money come from? The government is not going to give you any single dollar. It is a privately managed organization, wholly owned by some private trust or something like that, not a public sector undertaking. So they do not understand all these things. So this is the fault of the people to not understand this very fundamental thing, as important a thing as this, as fundamental a thing as this. So the blame goes on the people. They want everything for free of cost. Even as far as these very discussions of mine are concerned that I conduct in this very lifetime of mine, many people don't try to even pay a single rupee. They don't want to pay even a single rupee, and they want everything for free of cost. That is not going to happen. You have to do something. Otherwise, how will I take care of my own livelihood? I also survive, and I don't demand funds from the government. The government is not supporting me. It will never support me because I'm a rebellious person. If I see something wrong happening from the side of the government, I will immediately oppose, be it any political party. But if I sense something fishy, smell something fishy, I will revolt. So they have to understand this thing, and nobody could have dared to publish all these things in many languages because it is a big task. Compiling all my discourses, then translating all those discourses, making a compilation. Okay, so it is not that easy because I had spoken a lot, 6,000 hours of lectures, and you have to publish a lot of books, and the books must be appropriate, must be laconic, relevant to the things that I have said. You just give any title, that is another thing. But as far as the content is concerned, you have to translate very wisely, otherwise, the substance will be lost somewhere in between. So they did a great job, that is appreciable. I'm not talking about them, I'm talking about other people who are basically politically motivated. They are trying to create a revolution which is of no use. They are fighting for something which is dead. The samadhi is not alive, it is dead. I don't believe in dead things. I believe in things which are alive.
Yeah,
When I say that I have come, they do not even come to me for checking me out. Their Guru himself says that I have come back, you can come to me. You should not run after the very dead samadhi. You can come to me, you can check me out if you want. But they will not come, they will simply oppose. But they say that I have to save this thing, I have to save that thing. Okay, you can save, but be a little bit practical. How long will you be fighting with them? You will never succeed. 32 years. 32 years. Standoffs going on. Negotiations going on. Everybody, they are loggerheads with each other. What will you achieve? Nothing. Your time is lost. And time which is lost, it will never come back. Simply think about it. What are you doing? You're fighting for my samadhi, you're fighting for that Osho International, which is no more than a piece of land. Why don't you understand? It is simply a piece of land over which a structure is situated, which is named Osho International. Why don't you understand this very simple thing? My books are there, 600, 700 books. Simply buy tons of books and spread them among the people free of cost. The way ISKCON does. Sometimes they preach and they give Bhagavad Gita, which are compiled, actually narrated by Srila Prabhupada. Okay, sometimes free of cost. They deliver the books and they make devotees. Why don't you do something like this? You give books to the people. You go from one university to another, from one school to another. Why don't you do that? You say that NCERT or CBSE, they are not taking care of the messages of Osho. They are not including the sermons or the teachings or the philosophy of Osho in the academic curriculum. Why will they? It is not their job. You have not motivated them at the first place. You have never told them. You have never gone to any university, any school for preaching, for telling the students, for telling the academicians about my philosophy. You have never delivered it that well. You simply fight for the ashram. 32 years, you are fighting, simply fighting. How will they include my philosophy in the academic curriculum? One simple textbook of 4th or 5th standard, one picture of mine over there, people are very happy. People are very happy. See, Srila Prabhupada, a movie was made on him. The way he started ISKCON, the whole historicity of ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, they have made a movie. Okay? They have made a movie on him. I'm not saying that make a movie on him. That's another thing. But you should make. Why will you not make? Netflix made, okay? And Netflix is not of Indian origin, even. Whatever the money they earn out of this web series or, Wild Wild Country, something like that, which was made 4 5 years ago, everything goes to America. A few actors from India. I don't even know whether actors are there or not, or only Sheila is there, or some sort of documentary kind of thing it is. I have not watched it yet, frankly speaking. I've simply seen the trailer. The trailer which I am used to putting in a few videos of mine, nothing more than that. So I don't know much. But Bollywood did not dare, okay, to touch the subject of mine. Why will they dare? You are fighting for Dhasham only. You are not creating something new.
Because Pune people are interfering. They are not letting them make.
They are not interfering. They are not interfering. Pune people are not interfering. You can easily make a video in a different way. If I can spread my message once again in this lifetime of mine without any fear of copyright violation by simply using the name Rajneesh, why will you use Osho? Okay? If you believe that your guru has that kind of power, that kind of audacity, and that kind of influence over the civilization, then even using Rajneesh is not at all a problem. You use only one picture of mine, which is freely available on the internet.
See, it is very difficult to make a picture on you. It's not an easy job.
It's not a
easy
difficult
to make
job
a picture
either.
on Prabhupada and other people, but Osho is not an easy task.
See, here if you say that if Pune people are interfering, then this is something which is not right. I have not known Pune people about all these things. I have not talked to them regarding all that, so I am not in the capacity to say something.
Yeah, because those people who are trying to make picture on you, they don't even know who you are.
Why don't they know me? Why don't they know me? How can they not know me? There are plenty of books available.
Yeah, one has to go thoroughly.
A Rebellious Flower, that movie was made on me. Yeah. They did not use the word Osho, they did not use the word Rajneesh, nothing. Simply with the name Raja, they went ahead, they made a movie.
Yeah.
Nice movie. I have watched it, in fact. When my memories came back, that was the first movie I had watched. And I had not come to know about it by searching. It simply came in the recommendation. And I watched it. It came in the recommendation, I watched it, and it was very appreciable. I liked it very much.
Yeah.
Bollywood can make a movie, it is not a problem for
So that was just a glimpse of Osho, nothing, nothing.
See, the people do not look at me in a proper way, okay? My image, my identity is already going through a lot of stigmatization, a lot of blasphemy, a lot of defamation, a lot of cynicism. They do not take it.
But there are people who love you, who adore you.
There are people who love me, there are people who hate me. The people who hate me, they are more in number than the people who love me. And the people who love me, many people who love me, they are mainly stupid people. Because had they been intelligent enough, they would have dared to do something new this time. 32 years have passed, they are only revolving around the tussle of the ashram. Who will get the land? Disciples of mine post updates on Facebook. Who will get the share? Who will get the property? How dare they? Is that your property? Have you become a disciple of mine just for putting your claim over the property of mine?
Figure. It's very difficult to be around Osho-like figure. Already,
it is not difficult to be around a person like me.
It's very hard to preserve.
Difficult is to remain humble. Difficult is to imbibe humility and keep it intact before a person who is enlightened. Your humility is difficult to obtain, and your humility is difficult to be taken care of and to be kept intact. That is the difficulty. Otherwise, there is no difficulty. And I have been around very simple people. Very simplistic people, they can be around me, but very complex people, they find it difficult to be around me. That is the thing. There is no difficulty in making a movie. There is no difficulty in making a web series. They are finding excuses. There is no interference from the Pune people. They just have to approach them properly. They just have to have a conversation, have a productive and fruitful conversation so that both the parties can be at benefit. What is the problem? Because if you use somebody's name, okay, if you use something which is copyright protected, you at least have to pay something. You have to donate something, isn't it? If you don't give even a single penny to Osho International and you think that you can make a movie, then that doesn't make sense. It is not charity. I have never opened any charity when I was very new in my work during Rajneesh times. Okay, I used to charge even one single rupee from people. I used to charge only 1 rupee from people for taking part in my discourses. It was not free of cost. It was never free of cost. You must remember. People now accuse me saying that I charge 3,000 rupees or something like that. No, I have always been charging. Even when I was alive during Osho times, I used to charge one single rupee when the ashram was not there. When the ashram was done, when it was established, then I used to charge sumptuous money. They used to pay. Everybody has to pay. And that is the reason why, because Indians were not in the very mode, not in the very conviction to pay. That's why foreigners used to come. And for some time, I had even banned Indian people from coming to my ashram. Indians were not allowed to meet me. Why will they meet me? They do not want to spend even a single penny. And they want to take all the benefits. This is not how spirituality is done. Spirituality should also be in the corporate framework. Unless you commercialize a spiritual activity, you cannot do anything for the people because you need funds. Whenever you create an establishment, an ashram, an organization, you have to take care of the piece of land, about the structure, about the infrastructure, everything you have to take care of. And if sufficient funds are not available, nothing is going to happen. And nobody would like to visit your ashram if it is just under the tree. Nobody would sit under the tree. Yeah, sitting under the shade of a tree, it is always worthwhile. It is always fruitful. But people don't understand. Because people are capitalistic. People are materialistic, and those who are materialistic, they can be taught spirituality in a materialistic manner only. In the disguise of materialism, they are taught spirituality. That is what I did. Those Rolls Royces were not for my own entertainment. It was a thing so that people could be influenced. You can say that as something, a spiritual trap. It was a spiritual trap because you can see my Rolls Royce and you can come to me. If I don't drive a Rolls Royce, you will not come to me. And why will Americans come to me? At that time, if I'm riding a bicycle in America, in New York, on the streets, why will they come to me? They will never come to me. Even if you see Sadhguru, Shashivasudev Vasudev, working at Isha Foundation right now, he's not riding a bicycle. He's riding a Harley Davidson. And that's why Save Soil, this campaign went viral. What have you done? Any campaign? Any campaign from any disciple? Not even from Osho International. And that is very unfortunate. I don't know what their problem is. But no campaign. No international work. You can go global. See, ISKCON after Prabhupada was over, okay? After he died, they did not stop the work. They kept inculcating more and more people. They kept involving more and more people inside the very framework, inside the very system of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. How strategically and how systematically and how intelligently they have carried out the job. You can see it is worth commendation. IIT graduates, IIM graduates, people who used to work at IBM, people who used to work at Microsoft, Apple, they have come.
But still, Osho has more appeal than Sadhguru. Still.
I am not talking about anybody's appeal. I'm just talking about the way you carry out the tasks, the way you handle an organization, the way you help or facilitate your organization in going ahead. Okay, in becoming more progressive, in becoming more upgraded with the changing times. That is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the dynamism of the spiritual work. If you're not taking care of the dynamism, how will you go ahead? And for this, I will blame even Osho International people. I will blame them because you have not gone global on a very widespread level after my demise. What was your problem? What is the problem? If your guru is so charismatic, so influential, then what is the problem in creating a few more ashrams in a few more countries? Rajneeshpuram was over after I was over. Okay, I was over in America. Okay, my work came to a standstill. I was jailed. Many things happened. I was poisoned. Rajneeshpuram collapsed. After that, if you had money, if you had such resources, even if you did not have any resource, you could have tried to do crowdfunding or something like that. You could have created another Rajneeshpuram in America. What's
It's
the
already
problem?
very difficult to handle only
It is
Indian
not
ashrams.
difficult.
How
It is
can they?
only difficult to
It's already a
handle
challenge.
that kind of courage, okay? To perfect that kind of courage and that kind of determination is hard to harbinger. That is the only difficulty. Otherwise, it is not difficult. Having just a few more ashrams, just a few more branches of Osho International, whether
There
in
are.
Nepal or Cambodia or Indonesia. No, there are not.
There are ashrams affiliated to Osho International.
Affiliated. Affiliated. I'm talking about mainstream branches. Well furnished, well established, mainstream, holistic branches which are working under the name Osho International, if there are not enough number of such branches, such establishments, then that is something not very satisfactory. So all the people they have failed. Osho International failed because they could not keep
So
intact that
actually, it's just
charisma.
that Sadhguru is alive. He's in his body. That's
When
why it's
Sadhguru is not
very.
alive, God forbid, I hope and I bless him so that he could live
Let's see
longer.
when
Even
yeah.
if he is not alive, I am very hopeful that his mission will not go unnoticed. It will keep working. Okay.
No, it's also a matter of a guru being in his body. That's why people are
Then
running
what
more to
happened
Sadhguru.
to Srila Prabhupada? Srila Prabhupada is no longer there, but ISKCON is doing a great job. You're talking about Rajneeshpuram worth $18 million. You see one temple of ISKCON, whether in Vrindavan or California, even in Pakistan they are working. Every temple is worth millions of dollars. You understand? Hmm. Every ashram, every temple is worth millions of dollars. And my Rajneeshpuram was only $18 million. This Osho International is not more than 400, 500 crores. Not even that, I am somewhat exaggerating the figure. But if you see simply one temple, you see how vast it is. They have created a network. You could learn something from them. They are not your competitors, they are not your rivals, but they are doing something very, very, very similar. They are also doing something spiritual, not at all a problem as far as Harinam Sankirtan is concerned. And I cannot go against ISKCON because in some way even I am related to ISKCON. You understand? Do you know how I am
Hmm.
related to ISKCON?
How?
You don't know the very philosophy of ISKCON.
No, I don't know much.
Perhaps you have not gone through the philosophy.
No.
During 1486, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I had taken birth in Bengal, in Nadia. Hmm. Nadia is a
Mm-hmm.
place, a small village kind of thing over there in Bengal. As Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I had taken birth over there. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I had created the very establishment of the principle of Bhakti movement. Harinam Sankirtan
Mm-hmm.
movement I had started at that time. I had begun Harinam Sankirtan to keep enunciating and pronouncing and taking the holy names of the Lord for salvation.
Mm-hmm.
So I had delivered the message of Harinam Sankirtan to chant the holy
Mm-hmm.
names of the Lord, to chant the holy names of Hare Krishna. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Yeah.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that is
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I had taught in my entire lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I had only compiled a few verses, a few slokas. I'm done. People
Mm-hmm.
had written books on me like Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you read it, about my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
they have believed that I was the reincarnation of Lord Krishna. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a few people in Gauriya Sampradaya, Vaishnav,
Mm-hmm.
Vaishnav people. So from that Sampradaya, from that disciplic succession, a few gurus came up. Okay, a few people who had believed in me and who were there with me when I was Chaitanya. Hmm. They
Mm-hmm.
started spreading my message of Harinam Sankirtan. At that time, there was no such thing called ISKCON or Hare Krishna movement on a very widespread level. Nobody had gone abroad for uh, preaching my ideas. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to suffer a lot of tumult, a lot of atrocity in the society when I was Chaitanya. Mughal period was there.
Why?
Mughal period was there. It was the period of Islamic rule in India. And
Mm-hmm.
many people had tried to kill me. Many people had tried to murder me, slaughter me. Many things had happened with me. My first
Mm-hmm.
wife had died due to a snake bite. After that, I had to marry once again. I had taken renunciation when I was very young. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I had lived a life of utmost sanctity and spirituality. I had lived a very simple life. I used to teach Sanskrit in the school.
Mm-hmm.
Even at that time, I was a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So I became famous because of my uh, sattvic style or ascetic style of taking the holy names of the Lord. And I had told
Mm-hmm.
people, if you want salvation, you have to enunciate the holy names of the Lord. You have to understand the Lord by taking His holy names, by falling in love with Lord. Because at that time, it was very difficult to become spiritual because it was Mughal period. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so many temples were on the brink of collapse because Muslim people, the Muslim rulers, emperors, they were devastating, they were destroying the temples, and there was no place
Mm-hmm.
left to worship the Lord. So I had told them
Mm-hmm.
to take the names of the Lord sitting at home. There were not books available. Literacy rate was very low. How could I have
Mm-hmm.
taught people in such a style, the way I had taught as Osho? Because people were literate at that time. So many things had happened. India had become free.
Mm-hmm.
Literacy rate rose up. But at that time, literacy rate was very, 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 very low. It was
Mm-hmm.
terrible. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I had started Harinam Sankirtan movement, and some people came up, some people who believed in me, they spread my message. After that, there was a person called Srila Prabhupada. It was his spiritual name. Before that, his name was something different. And he used to study in a university where Subhash Chandra Bose also used to study.
Mm-hmm.
He was not a rogue figure. Okay, he was a very credible identity at that time, and I still appreciate his work. I find him very commendable. I have said something against Prabhupada when I was Osho, but it was out of joke. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I have ridiculed him, but it is something very casual when you talk about your friend. I have always been in touch with Prabhupada when I was alive as Osho. I have talked to him on certain occasions through letters. And
Mm-hmm.
in one of the letters, I had said that you are doing a good job. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
During the
Mm-hmm.
very same time, he had gone to America to create Hare Krishna temples. That means ISKCON movement he had started
Mm-hmm.
for bringing the consciousness of Krishna inside the people. He did a very good job. And how he was able, they developed a philosophy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And in that philosophy, they said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the reincarnation of Lord Krishna. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He is Krishna himself, and that is why he is taking the names of Krishna, so that he could feel compassionate for the people and he could deliver the message among the people, telling the people that if you be as good a devotee as me, you can also be delivered. You can also get salvation. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he taught the love of God, becoming God. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
being a human, and while becoming a God, he tried to deliver the message. He was God himself, and he was in a human form, and he taught the love of God by becoming a devotee of God. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
God himself is becoming the devotee of God. So he's
Mm-hmm.
teaching people about devotion. So this philosophy
Mm-hmm.
they developed. See, whether I am God or not, that is another thing. I openly state that I am God. That is another discussion. But their philosophy was that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a reincarnation of Krishna, and his complexion was
Mm-hmm.
that of Radharani. He used to look like Radharani, but he was Krishna himself. He became a devotee of Krishna. He started Harinam Sankirtan movement. Okay, and the first ISKCON
Mm-hmm.
movement was started by Chaitanya himself. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and after that, Prabhupada went to America. At that time, hippies were there in trend. There were many hippies,
Mm-hmm.
and many people were
Yeah.
influenced by the preaching, by the sermons of Prabhupada, the way he taught philosophy, bhakti, devotion,
Mm-hmm.
spirituality. It was very much liked by the American population, and he created that ISKCON movement. Many temples were constructed in America, in India, in several parts of the world. If you go to any part of the world, you can find a Hare Krishna temple. Hmm.
Yeah.
In India, they
Mm-hmm.
have started Akshay Patra. So many things related to feeding the people who are in starvation, the poverty-stricken people. They are given food free of cost. Perhaps they have started such kind of a thing in many schools as well. those schools who cannot afford food, the children who are poor and hungry, they take care of the food of the children. And they also used to give food to the founders of Apple, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, when he was struggling and when he did not have anything to eat, he used to go to a Hare Krishna temple in America and he used to eat there and he used to like that food. And he once had come to India as well to Neem Karoli Baba for his own enlightenment or something like that. And it is there in the book of Steve Jobs. There is a book on Steve Jobs called Steve Jobs. It is written by, I'm forgetting the name of the person who has written it. I will tell you later. Somebody has written Steve Jobs. So the book is very nice. I've actually read that book. And that person has also written the biography of Albert Einstein. The same person who has written the book on Steve Jobs. So Steve Jobs was also influenced by the Hare Krishna movement. You have heard about Beatles?
Yeah.
From England. The Beatles band. Even they became the disciples of ISKCON.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada did something, and his net worth right now, although he's no more, is way more than mine. It's way more than Osho International. You see, Isha Foundation, it's way more expensive and it's way more, resourceful as compared to Osho International and some other organizations. I'm not trying to create a competition. I'm simply telling you about it. If you think that I had done something on such a colossal scale and it was very unprecedented and it is very incredible and it is very incomparable, you are perhaps wrong. Many people have done that. Okay? And if you say that I'm only the biggest personality in this universe, it's not like that. Everybody has done something on his or her own part. Okay. If you underestimate the work of Srila Prabhupada, do you even know how many books he has compiled, how many books he has written himself? Okay. The 14 cantos of Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, he has compiled himself, written in English language. He has translated Bhagavatam. Okay. And it is very difficult to translate Bhagavatam because it is very vast. He has narrated, he has put forth his own commentary regarding Bhagavad Gita and it is published by the name Bhagavad Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada. And he actually narrated that so well. Vivek Bindra is a disciple of ISKCON. Vivek Bindra is such a famous motivational speaker and business guru, corporate guru. Okay. And he happens to be a disciple of Prabhupada. He happens to be a disciple at ISKCON.
Yeah.
And he wears that Tulsi Mala.
Yeah, actually these people are open about it, who they are following or who they are disciple of. But they are also reading Osho behind
They are reading Osho, that is understandable, and that is very good. I'm not telling about my own popularity. I'm telling you about the strategies these people have devised, these people have inculcated or, taken into consideration to put forth and carry out their job, to make their mission more progressive, to go ahead with the changing times. And these people have done something very
cunningness, this is cunningness.
I had done something during 1984, 85, 70, somewhere in between. But after I was over, what actually has happened in this respect, it is not that substantial. That is what I'm saying. Something more could have been done had the enthusiasm and motivation and perseverance of the disciples been coming from their respective sides to such an exponential extent, to such a quantum scale. That is what I'm saying. I'm only saying that there is some sort of lackadaisical behavior involved here. Okay, they were a little lackadaisical. And their determination was a little lackluster. It was not very opulent, it was not very magnificent. That is what I'm saying. If you search for ISKCON, it is doing something right now in the present context. If you search for Isha Foundation, doing something in the present context. You understand what I'm saying? They're interacting with the people, they're creating movements, campaigns, many things. And they are corporate strategies. So remarkable. But what my organization is doing right now, see, I have taken a new birth. I'm in a different body. What I will do in this birth of mine, I will do everything from scratch. Hmm. I cannot simply sit there at Osho International and start delivering my message. That won't be very worthwhile, and that won't be very, very meaningful. It will be too nonsensical, absurd kind of a thing. It will be disgusting. I'm taking advantage of my own past life. And that is not something that does make any sense. I will bring something new to the forum. I will not keep spreading the same message once again. No. The message was good, but there are a few things which should be upgraded. I will not be accepted or I will be accepted. That is completely a different discussion. That is debatable. Okay. I will not be accepted or I will be accepted. That is up to the opinion. That is up to the liking, the penchant of the people. That is up to the belief of the people. I cannot do anything in this respect. And I have never told anybody to believe with me. And I have never used the word Osho before my name or after my name anywhere. Yeah, to some extent I have said that I was Osho because it is a very famous name. So I have to use the name sometimes. You understand? But I have nothing to do with this name. It's simply a name which was there conferred upon me by some people. And also did not exist. The name did not exist until 1980s. Understand? After I went to America, at that time I was given the name Osho, and it was something influenced by the Japanese culture. They were inspired by the Japanese culture, and this has some sort of connotation or significance originating from the Japanese culture itself. So Osho name, like a river, like an ocean, something like that. I don't even remember all that, but people used to call me Osho because it is something very endless. It is something very serene, sublime, something like that, and they like this name. I'm simply saying that had there been enough will and enough courage prevalent in the people who had belief in me as Osho, they would have been doing something more remarkable. Okay, more worthwhile and more noticeable than something which they are actually working or doing right now. They're not doing anything very worthwhile right now. It is nothing more than political motivation or political propaganda. I'm not accusing Osho International. I'm accusing the rest of the disciples. You understand? Because they are trying to wreak havoc. They are trying to bring the tussles. They are trying to confront the people. They should not do this. Enough time was there, 32 years. And I had waited in this very lifetime of mine for 27 years. In these 27 years, I was born, I was brought up, I was educated. I'm in the marital age. Understand? I can even marry. So I have entered the age of marriage. And I have started my own movement, the Vasudeva evolution, this time. And enough time was left for these people to do whatever they wanted to do, to spread my message, to help my mission evolve and grow with respect to the present requirements, present times, with respect to the attunements which are needed to bring conformity with the dynamism of the society, philosophy, culture, everything, to take everything in a holistic sense and to move ahead and to work progressively in a holistic and mainstream sense in the society, even on a geopolitical scale. That is what I'm thinking, that is what I'm telling you. They did not scale it up. You understand? They did not scale it up. And they're simply doing something which is alright. It simply doesn't make sense. You talk about academic curriculum, but you do not go to the university, to the colleges. A few people running some shivas. What will it do? You simply dance and some music is playing in the background and you call it dynamic meditation. Okay? And you simply play my discussions in the background, which are again copyright protected. Okay? What are you doing? What is your skill? What is your own merit? I'm talking about the shivas, about the retreats which are happening in my name. What are you doing? What is your own merit?
the technique and all these dances.
They do not know any
And the
technique.
listening to the
You
whisper
understand?
is just a
They do not know any
preparation.
technique. If some person is told to do the dynamic meditation or this kind of meditation or that kind of meditation, without comprehensively understanding the philosophy of life, and nothing can manifest. If you do not know anything about life, the substance of life, the philosophy of life, the agony, the separation, the very
That
toxicity of
that
life,
is also happening. That is also
nothing
happening.
is happening. If anything would have happened, I would have told you. You understand? Nothing is happening. It is simply brainwashing in a certain way, which is a very intelligent way of brainwashing the people. You have to carry forward my message in an intelligible way. I have been an intellectual person.
In
I have
that
not
sense,
believed
what
in
are
superstition.
ISKCON people doing? They're also dancing and just
They are
on
dancing,
the
but
streets.
see what they are doing. They are constructing infrastructural network. You understand? They are constructing infrastructural network all across the globe so that more and more people could join. Yes, they are dancing, but they are sending the books. Many things are happening, and they are going to the universities, to the schools. I am only telling people to interact with the universities and schools. And if you aspire my work to be compiled and to be included in an inclusive sense in the academic curriculum, then you have to spread my message in the universities and schools. That because that is where the youngsters stay. You understand?
Hmm.
That is where the youngsters live. They do not live somewhere else. They live there. Hmm. They study there for a majority of people, and they keep studying until their 30s. Some people even until their 40s because they want to do PhD, something like that. You understand?
Hmm.
If you do not connect to the universities and you still aspire that my guru should be there in the syllabus, no, it is not going to happen because you are doing anything in enough proportion. You are yourself not educated enough. You simply say that by becoming a meditative person, I can do everything. No, you will be a very poverty stricken person. Your life will be in shambles. Hmm.
Hmm.
Your life is in doldrums. Many sannyasis, many disciples I see, they cannot give any 3,000 rupees. Hmm. Even 3,000 rupees, it is not affordable to them. It is not like they do not want to spend, they cannot spend. 90% people, they cannot spend because they do not have. And they're
Hmm.
talking about Jorva the Buddha. You understand? They're not able to take care of their own livelihood, and they're talking about Jorva the Buddha. Isn't that highly paradoxical and contradictory? No, you have not understood. Because, first of all, you should have worked on your own life. Then only can you think about evolving the life of others. Your own life is in a big problem, is in ruins, and you try to help others. You understand?
Hmm.
I'm not accusing anybody. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not holding anybody culpable. I'm only saying that you have to devise a good strategy in order to move ahead. Even if you are against me in this lifetime of mine, even if you do not take my name, even if you do not propagate this very philosophy of mine in this very birth of mine in this body, no problem. You can carry forward my message in the name of Osho, no problem. But you should do something constructive, something remarkable. That is only what I'm saying. Understand? I'm not against anybody. I don't tell people to believe in me. Don't believe in me. What is the problem? Everybody has the right to believe in something or to not believe in something. And I have always been against belief. First of all, you have to know. Then only you can believe. You understand? And after knowing, belief is not necessary. After knowing, the absorption of knowledge happens, and after that, you simply know. The experience happens. Belief is unnecessary, isn't it?
Hmm.
And I have always told people to discover the truth first, and after that, become truthful. Discover the truth. Delve deeper into the principle. Delve deeper into the question. Start questioning. Be curious, inquisitive. Question everything. Every
So that
concept,
is
every
what is
principle.
happening in the shivers. That is
And
what is happening in the
never
meditations.
in the shivers. These shiver people, they come to me. And without talking to me, they post articles the way Kirti did. Several other people have done the very same thing. Have they discovered me? Have they come to me? Have they talked to me? Have they known my origin? Have they known anything about my genesis, about my coming into being? about my work, about my work, birth, about my philosophy, who I am. They even know about it. They don't know, and they tell people to discover the truth first and then believe in it. Be a curious person. That is what Osho said. And now you are commenting on somebody's post without knowing the person in a very idiosyncratic and prejudiced manner. Is that acceptable? You're yourself going against the philosophy of your own masters. On one hand, you are spreading the message of your master, and on the other hand, what you are telling the people, it's it is simply against that. And how you are behaving with me, it is simply in contradiction with that philosophy. What you post regarding me, if you don't know me well, how can you post all that? Like Shashi, what Shashi did. Okay, he talked to me so politely on the telephone. The very host of that very program, she talked to me very politely. I talked to them very politely. It was my decision not to visit that very program. Why will I visit? If I am going to be insulted, why will I talk to them? If I know that there is a conspiracy going on, and when I reach that venue, virtually on the online platform, on Facebook or something like that, and if I start talking to them, they will only defame me, they will only insult me and calumniate me, and they will do everything possible in order to besmirch my identity, popularity, credibility, everything. Why will I even go there? Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Why will I go there? If I know that you are going to poison me, why will I come to your feast?
Mm-hmm.
It is very ridiculous. And that damn person wanted me to come over there. Why will I come? If I know your plans, your conspiracy, it is simply not good for me to go over there. I do not want to create a scene. And I don't want to be angry with people purposelessly. It's not that I have never been angry. I have always been angry for a good reason. Anger is good if it is constructive. If it is going to bring some revolution, it is a good thing. No problem. But anger is not needed where it is not needed. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
That very person who claimed that he is my father and is calling me, I will not take his name, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Calls himself the friend of everybody. He posted a video. He never talked to me and he thought that he knows everything regarding me. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He posted a video. Okay, very good. But you should at least talk to me before. Who are you? What is your name? Where do you live? What is your academic
Mm-hmm.
qualification? What is your mission? Why are you doing all this? You should have talked to me. After that, you could have made a video. Otherwise, that video is an uninformed video. It is misleading. It is misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kirti, what Kirti did, he should have talked to me. He should have tried to discover my truth. After that, if he wants to post anything, no problem. Even if he wants to post something entirely negative regarding me, it is not problematic because it is your own opinion. I respect it, I value it. But on the basis of no data, okay? On the basis of no data, you are doing something that is completely absurd. It is the epitome of absurdity.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I'm saying. You have a lot of problem with me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you are saying that I am using the name of your master. Just pay a little more attention. Kirti believes that Osho is his master, and I'm taking the name of his master and then trying to go ahead in my life or this very Giri, Pratyan Giri, as he is concerned. He thinks that I'm using the name of his masters.
Mm-hmm.
Osho International, they have copyright on my name. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they can extract millions of dollars if I use the name Osho. Okay, if I want to go ahead in my life, they never uttered even a single word against me. They did not have any problem. Even if you call them commercial people, motivated by commercial interests or corporate interests, that they are not uttering even a single word against me. When I am calling myself the rebirth of Osho, the people who have actually constructed an ashram in my name, Osho International, they have no problem and they do not take it as copyright violation. Then how dare you to say that I am violating the principles of your master? I am violating the ethics and I am violating your ideas and your beliefs? Never. Never. Because you are motivated politically. You are politicizing my philosophy, everything. There is something very wrong about it. That is why you are irked by me. Otherwise, what have I done in my life? You simply go through my Facebook profile, you simply go through my YouTube, my lectures, whatever I have spoken, I have not spoken enough because most of the things I have spoken, it has not been recorded. Okay? Right now, I'm talking to you for the past 1 hour. Actually, I'm recording the conversation. Otherwise, it would have been something left.
Yeah.
The anonymity.
Good. I was thinking I would record.
Yeah, I have been recording since the beginning of the conversation, and had I not been recording, it would have gone unnoticed.
Yeah.
Because many things I have spoken to people, and I'm not always mindful of the thing that I have to record. Because I'm simply in the flow and I say a lot of things. Earlier, a lot of people were involved in recording my audio and several other things. I'm used to that. I always think that perhaps it is being recorded, but unfortunately, I'm in a different body, so I have to do everything on my own. Okay? Simply just go through that. I have not said anything offensive against anybody, have I? Even about the disciples, this Kirti, this Giri, these people, I'm taking their names because they have said something offensive about me, and I have all the authority to reply in reciprocation. You understand? I have never posted any negative comment anywhere on anybody's Facebook profile, anywhere on any YouTube channel. I have never done that. Frankly speaking, I feel very sad to say, but I have never posted any negative comment ever in my entire life. Since the beginning of my digital, footprint, since the beginning of my digital life, I'm talking about my virtual life on the internet. I've never posted anything offensive on anybody's profile. Even if I have commented somewhere, either it is very positive, I have appreciated the people, or I've blessed the people, or I have replied. Okay, somebody has posted something and I have given a reply. Do I not have the right to reply? I have the right. Everybody has the right to reply at least. When I made my YouTube channel, until that time, I had never posted anything offensive. Until now, I have never posted anything offensive. People are posting offensive things. You understand?
Yeah, I know.
And to those offensive things, I have not been given any response. To those offensive things, I have not been giving any response. I simply don't even go through that very post or comment because I know that it is very offensive. It is very, very malignant. It is not palatable. It is not worth noticing. So I simply let go of that. So these people think that I am using the name of their master. See what I am doing. I am calling myself the rebirth of your master, and I am carrying forward the very messages in a new way. I am trying to create Vasudevpura, an establishment, a spiritual network. You are not doing anything. You are trying to claim that very samadhi. It should be yours. You should be allowed to enter. I am not doing all that. I am simply spreading my legacy ahead. I am saying that I will create everything from scratch. How can I say anything against myself? I am not saying that I was a wrong man or I was simply a traitor. I'm simply glorifying my past existence. In fact, to be frank enough, I have been telling people that I had done something during the 80s and 70s, and I'm trying to bring back the revolution once again in a new way. So that the revolution should not be lost in the passage of time. People should not forget me. People should not forget the message of truth delivered once upon a time by me in some body, but again to be pursued ahead in a new way from a new body. I'm simply in continuity with my existence. And how am I defaming your master? If I am defaming your master, it would be equivalent to defaming myself. Some other people are defaming your master. That person who had made a video on me, he has abused Osho. You should revolt for that very reason. He has abused me. That very person, Shashi, the way he was talking in the video, that is offensive and that is derogatory. He is misleading the people. He is not letting the people grow spiritually, because a person who is spiritually grown, he will not waste his time in criticizing others for more than an hour on a video which is streamed live. Simply assume that you are Buddha. You will not waste your time in making a video just to criticize a king. A Buddha was simply against many kings because they were very morbid and they were very, very brutal, tyrannical. Uh, Animal slaughter was happening in Nepal and all across the globe, and he was heavily against all these things. But he delivered his message in a very peaceful manner. What was being done by Unglimal, I was there in that body at that time as Siddhartha Gautam Buddha. When I found Unglimal, or when I came to know about Unglimal, I had not done anything offensive, anything violent. I simply talked to Unglimal. What is your problem? Why are you doing this? And Unglimal was completely transformed. That is how I deliver my message. I do not criticize anybody because Unglimal was a murderer. I should have taken a legal action against him. I should have let the kings know that this person is very bad. Just imprison him. Give him life sentence, capital punishment. It is quintessential. I had not done that. I simply talked to him. That is how I transform the consciousness or facilitating the transformation of consciousness of people. I was in that body. I have not done anything ignominious, anything very competitive, or anything very, very, prejudiced. I was not trying to outrival anybody. They think that I am trying to outrival them. Shashi thinks that I'm trying to outrival him, and this very person who calls himself the friend of everybody, he thinks that I'm trying to outrival everybody. That's not the thing here. And many people have even accused me that I'm the person who is actually sent by Amrita and Jayesh, and they have trained me all their life so that I could take the name of Osho and go ahead and take over the ashram. Many people accuse me that I was trained in the United States of America and something like that. And they have trained me whole life, all these 27 years. I have been trained and I have been taught all the philosophical things originating from the very depth of Osho. And I am a very adept person in that regard. And that is how I can imitate him. And that is why I'm behaving or acting like him. That was the accusation. The accusation is that I'm the person who is hired by Osho International itself. Okay? Who is hired by Osho International. Now, Osho International has nothing to do with me. They don't even know me. I don't know them because, as far as this life is concerned, I don't know the new people. If it is Sadhana or Jayesh, Amrito, these people are concerned, know them. But apart from them, many people are even no more. They're no longer in their bodies. So it is not very worthy to talk about them or meaningful to talk about them. But as far as the people are concerned who used to be with me during my past life, I have known them and I know that they're not bad people. They may be misled by others, or they may be a little bit politically motivated, or taken by greed or something like that to some extent, but they're not bad people. They're not malicious people. They're trying to protect something and they may feel insecure if somebody tries to revolt without any reason. They also love me. It is not that they don't love me. Had they not loved me, they wouldn't have been there. They had enough money. They could have taken the money and eloped abroad. They could have taken the money from the bank account and could have gone somewhere else, a tax haven country. A country which happens to be a tax haven. There you don't have to pay taxes. You could have opened a company over there. You could have sourced all these funds, transferred all these funds from here to there, and you could have settled over there. They did not go. They're still here. And they're still facing the challenges, the struggles, and they are still being confronted by the so-called disciples. They're facing the challenges. They have not, they have not been those people who are absconding. They did not escape. They're not escapists. And that's what I like. I appreciate that. They also love me. They also do things for me. They also put their efforts. And they are also resource constrained. It is not that they have a lot of resources, because you are only seeing the outward of the ashram. The outside, the very surface of the ashram, it may look very luxurious, but you have to maintain it as well.
Yeah.
If you buy even a simple car like Hyundai, I have recently bought a car. See, I bought that car, but if I do not fill the petrol, or the fuel is not there, if the maintenance, if the servicing is not there, that car will be in shambles. It will be of no use. I own a house. If I do not pay the electricity bill, if I do not have tap running water, if I do not have such resources to take care of the house, that house will be dilapidated. So you are seeing only the outside of the ashram, but how much money is actually required to run that ashram? Do you even know about it? You are not even a graduate. You are not a postgraduate. You are not even educated. You are only literate, and you are talking from the perspective of those people. How can you even talk? How dare you? They are highly educated people. So they are highly educated people. They know how to do business, and you are trying to say that they are doing conspiracy, or they are bad people. They are evil. This is not the way of talking to people. When you know nothing and you doubt the intelligence and devotion and dedication of others, that is heavily concerning.
Yeah.
That is heavily concerning. When you are simply good for nothing, completely unemployed, completely uneducated, completely in ruins, and you're accusing others, that doesn't make sense to me. They're saying everything against Sheila. Even Sheila. How can you say anything against for that old lady? She's managing an ashram, a vridhashram, old age home over there in Switzerland. She's doing her job. What she did to me or what happened there at Rajneeshpuram, that is another thing. But for that same thing, you cannot keep accusing her or keep challenging her all your life. No, that is not the way how you treat people.
Yeah.
Okay, she says something regarding me about my behavior or how big an addict I was of drugs. That is another thing. It is her fashion of saying things. But your fashion of saying things should be a little more evolved. You should give respect. You should not keep accusing an old lady like this. Even after all this, even if after she has blocked me in this very lifetime of mine, she did not want to associate herself with me. All right, she was not associated with me after 84. Okay, she left her job. She was not my secretary anymore. She completely withdrew herself from all her duties and she left that ashram. She went away. All right, no problem. Again, she does not want to be with me. What is the problem? It's her own choice. It's her freedom. You should respect the freedom of people.
Yeah.
Because you are nothing in yourself. You are neither enlightened, nor educated, nor employed. You are doing nothing of any significance. Okay? You are simply intervening in others' activities, others' lives. You are simply pulling their legs. You are simply trolling them. You are criticizing them. Besides trolling, what is your job? You are implicating others, challenging them on legal grounds, saying that you have taken over the ashram. How much money had you contributed to the development of the ashram? Have you paid even a single rupee, a single dollar for the development of that ashram? You do not even want to pay the fee to enter, let alone contributing for the establishment. So these are simply nonsensical things.
Yeah.
Either you create an ashram of your own, or you should forget all this and move ahead in your life. Why do you want to be surrounded by touches? Because you want sensationalism. You want thrill in your life, the thrill of movies. You want a life in a cinematic style. That is not how life is lived. Hmm?
Hmm.
Life is not cinema. It is not scripted. If something goes wrong, the onus is not on the director. The onus is there on you. Because
Hmm.
it is without a script. So people will keep saying everything against me, but I will not give up. And I will not stop. You can keep challenging me. I'm facing the challenges and I will struggle. Even if I have to struggle all my life to make this thing happen, to make this Vasudev Puram happen, I will struggle and I will be in pain, no problem. I'm ready to get the pain and agony, insurmountable agony and pain and excruciation. No problem. I'm ready to get that excruciation. I will do that, but I will make it happen. That is my only job.
Hmm.
And I cannot leave my job. I don't want to be jobless,
Hmm.
isn't it?
Hmm.
I think I've spoken a lot.